Okay, back on with the action. Fans Pulse Lap 3 coming right up. Just before we dive into that, just a quick pause and some encouragement again to keep up the level of interaction that we've seen in the last couple of weeks. There's been some immense, really impressive, really enjoyable interaction on some of our social media accounts, Facebook in particular, and on YouTube. Please continue to do that. It makes it more enjoyable, more fun for us in the 360 team, and hopefully it's a two-way street, and it's more fun for you as well to have a little bit of back and forth with 360. Please do subscribe. It is absolutely free. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's where we put all of our podcast content. And finally, for now at least, just a reminder, I want to draw your attention once again to our dedicated WhatsApp number, which is 0333 772 4046. It's absolutely free to message. It's absolutely free to send us a voice note. Please, as you would your friends and family, just WhatsApp that number, 0333 772 4046. Thanks for those of you who have done that so far. Would like to receive messages and voice notes from more of you. Right, back on with the action, gents. Fans Pulse Lap 3. So we're going to talk about team spirit. So what defines team spirit as an element of any team sport, I guess? But there seems to be, and Cami, I'm going to bring you in first, around the Glasgow scene, year on year, Glasgow as a club put a big focus pre-season on team spirit, getting the team together, getting some team bonding and all that good stuff. Presumably, it's an investment in that pre-season time, because we believe there's a translation of that in terms of effort and points during the season. Is it as simple as that, Cami?
That's what we hope for, obviously, but at the end of the day, it's just to get the boys to meet each other away from, just racing, because we don't, during that boot camp, they're not on the bikes at all. They might be on a spin bike, but they're not on a speedway bike. But we just try and get them to, do things outside their norm with the other lads, and actually get them to show them what the club's about. Maybe riders that hadn't ridden for Glasgow before, and even the ones that have, go over. Peter takes them a tour of Allied, shows them what's behind the club, gives them the ethos on what we're thinking. And we also let them know how we expect to behave. We want them to behave in a certain way when they represent the club, because we find that very important as well. And by and large, that's exactly what they do. But it's really the pre-season camp is really to create a spirit amongst the boys, and generally it does really help. It's something I've noticed since we started doing it. It definitely helps, because the chat group from when the camp finishes to the season starts is alive, and we've got a home and away meeting against Edinburgh this weekend, and the boys are all staying in the same hotel in between, and that's also something we encourage. We all go stay together, and we try and eat together, and whenever we get the chance, and just do some things outside Speedway, and it does seem to help us. It's an expensive thing to do, and we're lucky to have the owners we have that can fund that. Not all clubs can do that, and I appreciate that. But it's definitely something we find very beneficial.
I love it, Cami. It does sound so super professional. Robbo, sorry, I pressed my button a little bit prematurely earlier. Bring you back on screen now, Stuart. From the other side of the fence, literally, from a rider perspective, how much of a differential is it to you as a rider to really feel genuinely part of a team setup and an important part of a speedway club?
It makes a huge difference, that does. It's great. We used to try and do things throughout my throughout my career, more towards the end of my career, like sort of 2000 onwards. We would do. I'm saying the end of my career, 2000. I'd only been going a few years then, but from 2000 onwards, we used to do with Coventry. We'd try and do whether it be go-karting or something like that, and then with other clubs, we do different things. One of the best ones I ever did was with Rye House. We used to go skiing, because fortunately the owner at Rye House owned the ski company too. It was the late Len Silver. He was absolutely brilliant. He used to take the whole team skiing, and that used to get everyone bonded really well. We would be out on the slopes together all day, everyone skiing together, and then we'd eat together throughout the day. We'd go for a few beers at the end of the day, and everyone. Like when I first went to Rye House, I only knew a couple of the guys that were riding there. I didn't really know a few of the guys, not at all. Danny King is 16-year-old when I first went there, his first season in the sport, and I didn't know him. I think it was Stevie Boxwell. I didn't really know him, but we got to know each other so well. And it showed on the track, because that first season at Rye House, we won the league initially. We lost in the playoffs to King's Lynn, but we won the league initially.
I'd forgotten about Silver Ski. Bless Len. He was an absolute legend of the sport in this country. But I'd forgotten about the ski trips, and I can see, Stuart, to your point, I can see how it must have made a huge difference. You really got to know those guys, and it must really have strengthened the sort of kinsmanship within the side. Nigel, bring you in, Nigel. Back in your day, what we've been talking about, Nigel, is that something that you recognise from back in your day, or was there? Did it just not happen?
Not really, no. We used to, in my Stoke days, they'd take us out for a meal, everybody, the riders, the wives. But there was always a good spirit at Stoke. We never won now, but there was always a good spirit there. The lads always got them well. End of the season, we always used to go, well, there were probably 30 or 40 of us, all the riders. We used to go to Bucklands and, for these weekends and that. And the spirit was always very good. And let me tell you, it's easy to have good team spirit when you're winning. Not always so easy when you're losing. And that became more when I went to Glasgow, because obviously we won the league and the cup, didn't they, for 2 years. Then did some really good lads up there, what made the excellent team spirit up there. Mick Powell. A terrific guy, mate. Bosey, he was captain. Great lad. And, it was good. It was good. Nothing like the level it is today. But that's just how things have gone on and more professional. I think it's excellent doing the things they're all doing. A lot of clubs can't do it because they can't afford to do it.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't know. Glasgow was very good.
It's interesting, Crabby. One thing you said there, I just wanted to ask you about. So it's all. You touched on it yourself. You said when things are going well and the club's having some success, it's easier to maintain and build, I guess, a team spirit. But the real test is when things aren't going so well, right?
Yeah. And it never went over right at Stoke, did it? I think we had a couple of years when I first went there where we were pushing for the league. But after that, we were sort of also around. But them also around are just as important as the league champions, Because without the also arounds, there won't be any league champions, will there? I don't know if that's right or wrong. I don't know.
Yeah. We're going to talk about in the next section. We're going to talk about team management. So I can already see some potential overlap of team spirit and building and maintaining team spirit as part of the makeup and the discipline of a team manager. But Cami, just to briefly touch on that just now. So we're talking about team spirit and building it in the first place, and then I guess sustaining it over a season. But give us a little bit of insight, Cami, into how easy or difficult it is to do exactly that.
Well, I think it starts from the beginning when we do the boot camp, Derek. We try and carry on with the same kind of conversations and commitment that we do at the boot camp with the riders, and hope the riders, kind of dial into that, and they do. They really have. I mean, this season especially, it's been really good. We've got a really good bunch, and it's something that we've learned over the years is to try and pick the right people as well. It's very important to try. It's not just how good you are at speedways. Guys that will integrate with the other guys. We're going for a total British team this season. Not many, because we don't like Danish riders, because we're all great with Danes and all the rest. It's just a case we thought we'll give it a go. We'll try and see if we can build the bond a bit better. And so far it's working, but we'll have to try and keep that going, and that's the secret, to try and keep it going. But it's when you start with 3 days together doing lots of different things, it does get a bond together with the boys, and it's great to see them all bonding and they talk together amongst themselves as well, which is great on our chat groups. I see, I'm active on it every day. It's really, really good. I'm really pleased with how they all got on, and they pull for each other. And when one of them's not doing well, they all get round them and help. And that's one of the secrets to me. When somebody's not having a bad time, other riders can tend to walk away. Our guys seem to get round them and try and help them. And somebody's got bike problems, they're all there helping them. And that's the way it used to be in the old days. And I say the old days respectively when Nigel was racing, and they all seem to help each other, and we're, our guys do that, and that really pleases me. That shows a level of spirit where they don't turn their backs on each other, and that's why we do the boot camp at the start of the season, to try and hopefully get that kind of spirit amongst the boys, and we certainly have it this season. We've had it for a few seasons. Even last season, the results didn't go our way, but we had a good bunch of boys. Really, it was fun working with them.
Stuart, just to bring you back in again, from a rider perspective, you've kind of touched on it earlier, but if you don't mind me just revisiting this with you. So, when you as a rider really feel part of a club, you've bonded with your teammates, you've got each other's backs, you really want to ride for the club, you really want to ride for that set of supporters on the terraces, is that literally worth some extra points week on week, meeting on meeting, Stuart?
It is, yes, absolutely. You are a team. You are a fully bonded team, and if the guys have said that if someone has bike problems, you all rally around to help. And if the bike can't be fixed, there's another bike there for you. If you can't, because you've got to change your back wheel and that kind of thing. If you didn't have the time, then someone will come out with another bike for you. It doesn't always work for you because the setups are different, but quite often it does work. Depending on the rider itself. Some riders can adapt to other bikes very quickly, and some can't. Some have to just ride their own bikes because of the way the setup and engines and the actual handlebars, the height of the seat, and everything else. But to have that is a massive part of it. It is worth more points. You look out for each other on the track. First bend, you go into the first bend. You've got 3 riders next to you. You're looking for your teammate there. You don't always spot them, but a lot of the time you do. So you can, depending on what gear you're on, you can control the race. If you're off gear 2, you can control the first bend. If you are quick enough, you can trap the guy off gear 1, hold him down there, and once you've slowed them down enough, you can then drift. You can sometimes drift and move or slow the guy off gear 3 down, expecting your teammate to either go around them or cut back or whatever it might be. But you do things like that. You look out for each other, and you learn how each other rides. You pay more attention, and you do look out, and it all shows on the track. Yeah, it's definitely worth more points.
Brilliant, thank you, gents. I really enjoyed chatting that through. So there you are, 360 Speedsters. Team spirit in Speedway is a real thing. It has some material benefits and impacts that benefits the club and benefits the rider scoring out on track. If you've seen some great examples of that, of team spirit at your local track, currently or in the past, do drop us a note and single out who might have been responsible for that and what example of it that you witnessed firsthand. Okay, welcome back. Some more of your messages. Thanks again to everyone who's taken time and trouble to submit a comment. We do our best to. We absolutely read every single comment, every single message, and we do our best to showcase and bring online just a handful of them. Eddie H from Boston. I think Eddie H, you have written in before. Successful again, Mr. H. What can I say about Super Luke Harrison? Bagged 16 big ones last Friday night. Looked ever so composed and quick. The skipper looks to be on the up too. So yes, a huge performance from the Scorpions last Friday night around the the Eddie Wright Raceway, I should say. And Luke Harrison, what a superb prospect! And 16 points from reserve. I think he got nominated for Heat 15 as well. So big up to you, Luke Harrison, for all the hard yards, and thankfully that's beginning to pay off now in terms of points. And yeah, the skipper, Simon Lambert, who of course was on this very podcast 1 week ago. Good evening to you, Simon. Had a much better night. I know he's been scratching his head and working behind the scenes to get a bit quicker, which is almost a direct quote from Simon. And good to see that was translated into some points last Friday night. Thank you, Eddie. Who else has written in? Glenn T from Solihull. I can't do the accent. Massive first away win at the Lions Den on Monday. A Paco-powered performance to shock the home side. Just the morale boost needed just now. And that a nod, of course, to Birmingham's. You know, we talked about Birmingham in a little bit of detail last week. Some devastating news to come out of Perry Bar. And there we are on Bank Holiday Monday, and as they almost did earlier in the season, that the Brummies went to Beaumont Park, is still how I remember it. I know it's got a fancy name these days, and did the business. They won by a point. They pipped the Lions by a point to pick up an invaluable away win. And Paco Gastagna, I think, was quite pivotal in that performance. Was it maybe 10 or 11 points from memory? So, a timely morale boost, as you say, Glenn, for all Brummies fans. Hopefully that just might inspire them onto better results, even at home, in the coming weeks. Cumbrian Ken from Barrow. Where else would Cumbrian Ken come from? Ken, good evening to you. Thanks for writing in. Where are the Comets going wrong? ? A very decent side on paper, but can't do it on the track this year. Embarrassing at Edinburgh, salvage some respect at home. It just isn't happening. I think we have mentioned the Comets in recent weeks. We've done a club spotlight on Workington. For whatever reason, and I agree with you, Cumbrian Ken, it does look like an impressive young side that the Comets have pieced together this year. It's not entirely a new side either. There's plenty of known quantities in that lineup. But for whatever reason, they just haven't clicked so far this season. They're doing enough, I think, just to kind of hold their own at home. They're certainly not hammering anyone at home. And on the road, you know, they were beaten by 41 points, no less, at Armadale last Friday night. And the writing was on the wall in terms of this year's Knockout Cup prospects before they left Armadale on Friday. So hopefully some better times and improved performances for you, Cumbrian Ken, and you fellow Comets fans. Caitlin C from East Suffolk. Please no, hope the Witch's injury jinx hasn't returned already. Losing Dan was bad enough. Now Doyley in the wars in Poland. Can we cast a good fortune spell? Well, if you Witches can't do that, then no one else is going to be able to. Yeah, Caitlin, we feel your pain. You know, the Witches have started this season literally like an express train. And you lost Dan Thompson, as Glasgow have, for a few weeks at least, and he was a potent force home and away for the Witches, as he has been for Glasgow. I've seen that firsthand. And poor Doyle, not only injured once but injured twice in quick succession out in Poland. Fingers crossed that he can shrug off those injuries and perhaps even feature strongly in this weekend's Grand Prix out in Marquetta. Thank you, Caitlin. Keep your fingers crossed. Cast a spell if you can. And finally, I believe for this week, Aces Dan from Lyme. Is that Lyme Regis? I'm not sure. Lyme. Aces Dan writes, I now feel that we are firing on all cylinders. So beware Ippo and Sheffield. There's a warning to Ipswich and Sheffield. Zach Cook is bagging in the points, and Jamin Lindsay has found more consistency. Just the reserves to fix. Grand final, we're coming for you. So not for the first time, a confident note, a confident sentiment, and a confident prediction from a Bellevue Aces fan. Listen, there are only 7 sides in the Premiership, so getting to the playoff finals might not be the biggest challenge, and anything can happen once you get into those semi-finals and hopefully the grand final. But yes, I think I'm sensing too, Aces Dan, that the Aces have started to fire a little bit more strongly, a little bit more consistently, and Zach Cook in particular has been a big part of that. Aces Dan, thank you for taking time to write in. Thanks to everyone who sent us messages this week. Thanks for all your interactions on social media, on YouTube as well, and keep that going, because it's much more fun to be interactive.